Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to our Anchorage Ice Tigers MyNBA here in NBA 2K26. So this is the first episode of the series. Actually, let's move my face down here for the time being. But anyways, I already set up basically the jerseys for the team. I'll show you guys that in a little bit once we obviously have a roster. But basically, this is going to be a Draft to Glory series just like we do in NHL. So we are only going to be building up our team via the draft. Obviously, we do have an expansion draft to start off with. But those players are basically going to be only filler, or we're trying to get the lowest overall players as possible. And then we could only build up via the draft, which means no trading, no signing, all that type of thing. So I'm excited to get into this. I haven't done NBA 2K stuff on the channel since 2019, so it's been quite a while. So I'm excited to see how the game's changed since then, because I've actually haven't even owned this 2K game since 2K23. So yeah, just excited to get into it. So without further ado, I think we are ready to start up the series. So first and foremost, teams will be protecting players, which we could see, obviously, since we're an expansion team. We will obviously not be partaking in protecting stuff because we don't even have a roster, but we could see what teams are protecting and what they aren't. We could technically adjust this if we really wanted to, but I'm not going to adjust who the teams are protecting because obviously we're only taking control of our teams. So this is obviously our expansion draft, so now we can start drafting our players. Hopefully we could choose some low-end players to start. We're obviously not trying to take any good players, but let's... can I change this by... I guess I could sort this by position, but we are going to sort by overall rating and take the worst overall players, like I said, and then we're going to build up, obviously, via the draft once we get to those type of points. But we're not going to have a good team at all probably in this first year. Also, I haven't, like I said, played this in a few years, so I might be a little bit rusty in terms of stuff. So if anybody's been playing this for last few years and could kind of fill me in with things that I don't know, please do so. I do know the NBA quite well at this point, but there's definitely some things I'd like to kind of still learn about more. So anyways, let's draft the lowest overall player. So I guess we will draft this point guard first, 67 overall. We're trying to build up the worst team possible for this first year. So we don't want to be taking all the good players, of course. We'll also take Ray J. Dennis, I guess, as the other point guard, and we could bring in some shooting guards and all that. This is going to be one of the worst looking teams you're going to see, but it's going to be like that for the first few years until hopefully we have some pretty good drafts and start getting guys developing nicely. So I guess we'll bring in Elijah Harkless as a shooting guard option. I wish I could get this to do this faster, but obviously I would just take the best players available, which I'm not obviously taking Zach LaVine because Zach LaVine's too good. So we'll take in the shooting guards. Now I guess we'll go to small forward. So yeah, let's go to small forwards, and then we'll obviously just keep on going through each position. Damn, Michael Porter Jr. is even available, apparently. Obviously, if we were doing one where I didn't really care about players I was drafting, I could take some good players, but I am trying to make the worst team possible, so we do not want to take any of these high overall players. Obviously, Paul George is probably injury-prone at this point, but I don't really want Paul George, obviously, on the team because he's way too good still, apparently. 81's not the highest at all. Power forwards. Wow, Rui's not even protected too. Damn. Was not expecting that. We'll take Obi's brother, Jacob Toppin, sure, as one of our power forwards. Let's head on over to the other power forwards, and I guess we'll take Lachlan Olbrich. I don't even know who any of these dudes are, pretty much, which is kind of funny, but... And then we'll take some centers as well, of course. Oh, wow, Hartenstein's even there, too. Well, I guess we'll go with PJ Hall. I don't even know if some of these guys are real players or not, to be honest, these low-end guys. And Hunter Salas. We'll take him as well. Actually, wait, that was a shooting guard again. I want it, that's fine. I don't even know why I just took another shooting guard. I meant to take another center. We'll take Vladislav Golden. So now we have 3 shooting guards. How much more picks do we got? I guess we'll take another small forward, another center, and maybe another power forward. We could use 3 point guards, but I could use shooting guards as point guards too. I'm not too worried about how good this team simulates in the first year, so I don't really care if guys are out of their position or not. We'll take the center, I guess, and then I said a power forward, so we might as well take that with our last pick if there's a low-end power forward. Actually, who's the lowest overall player? Let's see, shooting guards, we already have 3 of them. And we might as well go for friggin' Nemhard. Because I do like his brother. His brother's a great player. I do like the Pacers, if anybody was wondering what my team is. I think it's pretty much the Pacers. Liked them a couple of years back before they made the finals and stuff. So let's go for Ryan Nemhard. And that will be the starting roster for this team in the first year, which is kind of crazy. So let's go with that and exit draft. So there's our team. And we will auto-generate rookies because I like generated rookies rather than real players. And apparently, wow, that's already a pretty big thing, but I guess it's pretty much realistic. LeBron James plans to retire and is eligible for a farewell tour. If you say yes to their plans to retire, it cannot be reversed. Allow them to go on a farewell tour? Sure, why not? Do what you want, LeBron, you earned it. All right, so now that we have our roster, I could probably show you guys what our jerseys look like. So who do I want to actually, why did it sign me some good players? Did it sign me Malcolm Brogdon? I don't want people like Malcolm Brogdon on this team. Why did it sign me good players? Can I release Malcolm Brogdon? And his team is under the minimum player limit of 14 on its roster. Yeah, let's just get rid of Malcolm Brogdon. He's way too good to have on this team. I don't know why it got me new players. Because I was trying to bring in all the worst players possible. Like, why do I have a bunch of 74s? These are not even the guys I just took. Some of them are, but not all of them. What the heck is this? I don't even think I have settings turned on where I let the AI sign me players. I don't think so. I gotta double check this. Because that's kind of strange, because I don't know why it would have filled in my roster. Yeah, I have everything turned off, so I don't know why it signed me a bunch of players. That's kind of annoying, because I'm not trying to win games in this first year. I mean, that's still a pretty rough-looking team, but... Oh, god damn it. I guess we could keep it like that. I guess depends on how they simulate, but all these guys should have, like, 1-year contracts, so it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, all these guys are on like 1-year deals, I guess, so I guess it's fine. Maybe we weren't cap compliant or something like that. I honestly don't know why they would have been signed, but anyways, let's show you guys what these jerseys look like. So I guess we'll just go to Martin here and go to Edit Martin so you guys can kind of see the jerseys. So here is obviously our home jersey. Can I zoom in on a jersey? I'm trying to see if I could zoom in on this jersey at all, just because I would like to obviously go for a nice thumbnail at some point in time. Body. How could I show you guys the jerseys more zoomed up? Yeah, I don't know really exactly where to look for this. But anyways, you guys could kind of see the... Actually, I could go to the first game of the season and stuff like that. That might be actually not a bad idea. So let's simulate through this first day. Adjust rotation. Yeah, I don't really care about who's playing. But if I go to this first game, I could show you guys actually what the jerseys look like. So as you can see here technically is our away jersey. I think it turned out pretty nice. Obviously, the logo on the front, obviously not a lot of NBA jerseys actually have full-on logos like that on the front, but I think it looks pretty cool, in my opinion. Can I go adjust jersey? Yes, I could go edit uniforms. So yeah, we have this jersey. That's our away jersey. Here's our home jersey, as you guys would have just saw. Looks pretty nice as well. I think this one might be my favorite too. And then we go to the statement jersey, which is kind of a nice light blue. So I think these three jerseys actually all turned out pretty nice. And yeah, very excited to see how they'll look in action whenever we get into actually some games. So there's that. I guess since we're already at the start of the season, we might as well start simulating some. I'm trying to remember how the scouting stuff works in this. I guess I could go to prospect scouting. But I do need to go to our staff first, I think, if I remember right. Where is our staff? God damn, this is something I probably should have familiarized myself with before recording, but... Oh, my staff. Let's see. Which scout do we have? Head scout. How much money do we got, though? Not a lot. Is this guy even a good scout? He looks different than the scouting I had last time when I played 2K. I think last time I was saying A+ and stuff, but yeah, we'll just keep with the same scout, I guess, for now. And we will go to scouting, prospect scouting. And look at this upcoming draft class a little bit here. Can I already target people? I can add people already to my draft board. Okay. So I guess we will look at all these players here, sort this. So the best projected players are looking like, yeah, Bernard Russell for sure at power forward, who's 6'11", 249, goddamn. Then there's also Malevi Dunleavy. What the heck is that name? Malevi Dunleavy Sr.? We're already getting into the friggin' meme kind of names, which is funny. This guy's already 22, though, but he's projected a top 10 player, maybe. And then there's also Rodney Bowen as a center at 19, 7 feet, 275. Damn, that's a big man. That's a big man. All right. So those are supposed to go early, potentially. And then everybody else doesn't look the best on paper right now, but they're not fully scouted. But it might not be a super strong draft class to start off. But obviously, we will definitely have to look into guys like Russell and all that. I don't know if there's any way I could basically get my scouts to scout specific people. I don't remember how this works. I think it pops up with a thing if I remember right. But let's go to the end of the first month of the season. Obviously, we're not going to be very good, so I could just simulate this all in one giant chunk. And then we wait for any pop-ups. Yeah, you know what? That could be a thing. So let's simulate regular season this first year. And let's just have adjust rotation. Yeah, CPU could do that for now. We're not a good... Oh, wow, we actually just won 2 games. We won 2 games. I don't really want the team to win games, so I don't really know why we're winning games in the season, but we probably shouldn't win a ton. So auto adjust rotation again. And fill out roster automatically, sure. At this point, we don't really care about our roster, but eventually we will. Let's go with that. Keep losing games, please, boys. Thank you. Always adjust rotation for now. Obviously, we could change that later. But right now, I don't care if I adjust it. Damn, we somehow beat OKC. I don't know how that even happens, but let me stop the sim for a second. I'm just kind of learning a little bit here. Why is our team still winning games? Oh, yeah, here we go. Change target players. Scout around the first pick. Change target players. Let's just scout around the first pick, maybe. Trying to think. Or actually, let's just change target players and just do it to all the B- guys. How much players can we scout at once with this scout? Okay, now at least I see how it works. Looks like we could scout a good chunk here. I thought there was a limit. Yeah, there's a limit. So we'll get those guys scouted out and see if we can learn out about them. Hopefully our scout's actually a good scout, because that would help things. So we'll go do trip. And yeah, I don't know how we're winning some games this season. Like, how are we almost 500? I gotta stop the sim, because this team is doing way too good for a first year. I don't know why it signed me these good players. It still has Brogdon. Get Brogdon off my friggin' team. God damn, man. This is supposed to be a draft to glory, not like a friggin' win games because we have a bunch of 70s. The good thing is all these guys are signed for 1 year, so I'm just going to let them all go after 1 year. So this first year, we could almost write off as a randomly weird year, but I do not know why this team is actually winning. Okay, looks like we're getting some info more on these guys. Hopefully our scout's actually accurate. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but we might as well keep it to the same people, I guess. Yeah, because we're just trying to find the best player available. Looks like there's not going to be a lot of high-end talent, though, this year, which kind of sucks. But hopefully we can kind of find a diamond in the rough. And, yeah, hopefully next year's draft is better than this year. We could probably almost forget about this first year in general. Like, I don't know how this team's above 500 with a bunch of 70s. Decline. Disable CPU trade offers. Let's do that because we're not even making trades in the series. How are we this much above 500? Oh my god. This is ridiculous. Okay, we got some guys 100% scouted. Looks like Bernard Russell is going to be a really good player out of the gate, an 80 overall. Hell yeah. Alright, I'll definitely take that. Hopefully we could still draft some decently good players. Because like, if we're going to have a really good year in the first year, obviously we probably won't be getting anybody super good, but damn, man. So I guess this draft glory is kind of busted in the first year, but like I said, we don't really care about this first year. We'll obviously focus more on being bad in the future years. We'll obviously adjust stuff in the offseason. I don't know why they signed me guys like Malcolm Brogdon for this first season. But yeah, hopefully the team starts to fall off here, which looks like the case. Maybe it was just an early start that was good for us. Dunleavy's a 78. I really hope we could get Bernard Russell to start off the series. That'd be actually awesome. The good thing is this game actually simulates fast, so we could get this first season done pretty quick, I think. And then why can't I scout? Oh, Delgado's 100% scouted already. I was going to be like, why could I not scout him out? I thought I didn't have him scouted fully. But yeah, hopefully we make the right calls on some people, which we probably should unless our scout is inaccurate. Which I don't know if that's, like I said, a thing or not. I know that's a thing in MLB. But yeah, let's just not remember this first year for the Ice Tigers as much as possible here. Just because this team is definitely over-simulated. We are below 500 now, which is good. But let's change target players here again. We technically don't need to do this every single week, but let's go down here. We got still some more people. Or not every week, every single month or whatever it is. It seems like our scout's actually not a bad scout in terms of being able to scout a lot of people at once, which is nice. Okay, so let's stop the sim for a second. I do want to actually take a look at something here. Because I do want some... Oh yeah, here we go. Coaching, practice. Let me just go to freestyle for a second here. Because I do want to, obviously, get a player for the thumbnail. I don't know why the heck Malcolm Brogdon's on our team still, though. Can I change to one of the lowest end players on this team? Why do we even have Jalen McDaniels too? God damn. Yeah, I don't know why we're a bunch of 70 overall people, but let's just go with Micah Potter as the thumbnail athlete for this first thing. Okay, why is it still Brogdon? Whatever. Let's just go to camera, or can I go instant replay? No, I can't. Why can't I go instant replay? I did not even mean to shoot that. Bro, this is actually kind of annoying so far. I wanted to get a picture of him for the thumbnail, but I can't. I guess I'd have to go in-game to actually do that, but not going to do it. Alright, well anyways, let's continue to get through this first season. And we'll probably leave the first draft to next episode. Yeah, this is kind of annoying how it signed me a bunch of good players early on. Like, I don't want to be a good team. Yeah, we are somehow almost 500 in this first season. So let's change some more target players. But at least we're getting a lot of info on this draft class, so at least that's promising. And like I said, we won't even just count this first year. We'll just kind of look at it as a year where the AI kind of fucked us over, to be honest. And we're going to obviously, once we get to like off-season stuff and all that, we're going to be signing some lower-end players anyways. So, the guy's first name is Rock. What a name. Alright, so we'll go with that, and that is good. Yeah, I don't know how this team is kicking 500. It shouldn't be the case because we don't have any like crazy superstar players, but I guess we just have good depth or something that they signed us. I don't even know why it signed me all those players though. Because literally I just picked up a bunch of 67s. Like, did I have to be cap compliant or something? Probably. Maybe I should have turned off the salary cap so then I could have kept the team. I honestly don't know. But kind of a weird way to start off this first episode. Alright. Let's see. Can we please lose a bunch of games in a row and not win anymore? We beat the Clippers. And Performance Awards NBA Cup MVP is Jalen Brunson. Not really a surprise. Brunson's really good. We beat the Rockets as well. How are we beating teams like OKC, though? Like, realistically, this team probably on paper is nowhere near as good as teams like OKC. But they still find ways to win. Okay, let's get some more people scouted. Oh, Dusty McLeod included. It kind of sucks that you can only get 2 draft picks a year, though, in NBA, because obviously it would be kind of nice to build up this team faster, but obviously 2 picks a year, it should take us a while to actually get a team fully of players that we picked up ourselves. Okay, we're well below 500 now, so at least we're starting to finally dwindle a little bit, but at least we saw some early season success, even though, like I said, I just didn't really want that whatsoever. But yeah, I think that 80 overall guy is definitely one of our targets. I don't even know if we're going to have a high up pick, though, this year. That's the only problem, just because this team's over-simulated. But obviously, maybe we get a chance to draft decently high up. The draft lottery will hopefully be in our favor. We'll take a look at that in this episode, just because obviously that will impact next episode for sure. So I hope that we get at least a top 3 selection. Otherwise, a lot of the guys aren't going to have a lot of potential. They might be decent overalls, but that's pretty much it. So, looks like we got some awards to go through for the season. So, let's remove my face. You guys can see all this. So, Shea, obviously the MVP. Not really a surprise. 34.3 points per game. Looks like he had a crazy good year. Rookie of the year this year, Cooper Flag. Not a surprise. 14.7 points per game with Dallas. Sixth man of the year, Russell Westbrook on Golden State. That's interesting that he signed with Golden State. 15.6 points per game. So Russ was playing with Curry. That's interesting. Wemby, obviously the defensive player of the year. 24 points per game. 11.6 rebounds per game. Goddamn. And he was even averaging 2.8 blocks and over a steal a game. Damn, Wemby's insane. Hey, we did have the most improved player, but like I said, we don't really care about these players because these are not guys that I'm going to hold on to long term. But shout out to Brandon Williams. 17.3 points per game. That's insane. That's actually really good for a player on our team. I don't even know what overall he is, but let me actually see. 73 overall and 26. Like, how did he simulate this good? Last year, he was averaging actually 8.3, so I guess he is a decent player, but damn. He's not going to be a guy that's on our team next season. And why did I go to a different award? That's weird. Okay, after him, anyways, Devin Booker, the clutch player of the year. Mike Brown was the coach of the year for the New York Knicks. And executive of the year, Alexander Panel of the Golden State Warriors. So, there's the awards for this first season. All NBA first teams. Shea, obviously, Jokic, Doncic, Antetokounmpo. And then Wemby. Second team, Tyrese, Booker, Brunson, Cade Cunningham, and James Harden. Third team, Sabonis, LaMelo, John Morant, Ahmed Thompson, and Jason Tatum. I'm surprised Tatum actually even still plays in this. Like, I thought they would have put him like with an injury before he would start, but I guess not. Defensive first team, Wemby, Antetokounmpo, or Giannis, whatever you want to say, Thompson, Holmgren, and Mobley. Second team, our second defensive team, Jaren, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, and even Sarr. Sarr's apparently injured right now at the moment. You guys can't see that, I guess, but yeah, he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured right hand, so not great for Washington. Rookie first team, Cooper Flag, Igor Demon of Brooklyn, Dylan Harper, of course, Trey Johnson, and VJ Edgecombe, who's currently also injured. He's out with a torn left Achilles for the season. Yikes. That's a pretty substantial injury for a guy that was drafted really high up. Damn. Ace Bailey was in the second rookie team. Kaman Malok. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but he's there. Con Nuppel as well. Danny Wolf. Derek Queen. And that's it. All right. The first year playoffs. Let's simulate through these playoffs. Find out who ends up winning the NBA title this year. Now, Dallas is going on a run, surprisingly, but they do end up losing. It's OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not really a surprise, with the Western Conference Finals MVP. Eastern going to Evan Mobley. That's interesting. So, the finals this year is between the OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers, which probably could have been a finals last year if the Cavs actually, after their crazy good season, played good in the playoffs, but somehow Dallas went all the way to the conference finals. They were the top seed in the West, I guess, which is kind of insane because obviously, I mean, they have a lot of good old players like Anthony Davis and stuff like that, but Cooper Flag was the piece I guess they needed to get far again, which is interesting. So who's going to win the NBA title? It's probably going to be OKC at this point, my guess, but let's see. Will it be OKC? Yes, it will. So OKC pulls off the back-to-back, not really a surprise, as they do, in fact, beat Cleveland, and Shea, once again, the finals MVP. Not really a surprise on that whatsoever. So there you go. It was in 6 games as well, in case you were wondering. All right, so there's that. Let's see what's next. How do I go to the next stuff? Advanced. There you go. All right, now we get to the stuff that we are looking for. We'll probably go through this, and then that'll be probably it for this episode. Is after the draft lottery, or we could build up to the draft. Maybe not. No, we'll probably. Maybe we'll build up to the draft. This episode hasn't been super long at this point because seasons go through fast in this, but let's go through all this off-season stuff up to that point, and we obviously got to find out where we're drafting this year. And like I said, I hope it's a high-up pick, but obviously I don't think we have super good odds to get super high. But Let's go player retirements. Obviously, LeBron James just had his retirement thing. Chris Paul as well. Kyle Lowry. Damn, some really good old players. Al Horford, Mike Conley. The guys you would pretty much expect to retire at the end of the season in real life. I don't know if I really like the Photoshop job that 2K does on their player faces, because like these players don't even look real, like their faces. It looks like very plastic or art almost related. We did have some people retire on our team that they filled out on our roster, like Jay Crowder and Alec Burks, but obviously those guys wouldn't have been here long term anyways. So yeah, anyways, those are the retirements. Staff retirements, looks like the Magic have lost their assistant coach, Joe Prunty, and in Detroit has lost their assistant coach in Luke Walton. All right. Next up, Hall of Fame inductees. Obviously, not a surprise. LeBron James has made the Hall of Fame. And Chris Paul has also made the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that these two guys would make it. So shout out to LeBron and to Chris Paul. Gonna be kind of weird without them in the rest of this franchise mode, but shout out to them. And you guys can kind of maybe see what I mean about the player faces. Like LeBron's face literally looks like it's made of like plastic or something. Like it looks like one of those, museums that you go into and they're all made of clay or something. Very strange. Jersey retirements, obviously. D Rose has had his number retired, which obviously is a thing in real life. I guess that's why they threw that in. Chris Paul has had his number retired by the Clippers. LeBron James by Miami, and also Cleveland and LA. Kyle Lowry had his number retired by the Raptors, and Clay by Golden State. Not really a surprise on that. Wait, so Clay retired in this, but he didn't make the Hall of Fame? I guess. That's kind of surprising. All right, league meetings. Anything getting changed? Division winners will get to play the top 3 seeds in each conference based on record. Do I want to overwrite any of these? Division winners will get the top 3 playoff seeds in each thing. I don't think that's a hugely bad thing. 13 players from each conference will be named to the All-Star. That's not a bad thing either. Abolish the trade deadline. Imagine if that actually got approved. I'd obviously turn that off probably if that was the thing, but we don't even make trades in the series, so that wouldn't impact us whatsoever. But everybody would basically... Oh, it actually trading allowed throughout the season. Huh. I don't know what that is basically then. Change the shot clock to 35 seconds. That got approved. Is that a realistic thing, though, to have 35-second shot clock? Seems like a long time. I'm going to reject it instead, but maybe down the road if that pops up again, maybe we can approve it. But I feel like a 35-second shot clock would be way too long to try and get a shot off. 24 seconds or whatever it is, it should be more than enough. So there's that. And now we get into the important thing, the draft lottery. And this is probably going to be one of the last things we do in this episode. We have only a 3% chance to get the first overall pick, so I don't think we're going to be getting a good player out of the gate because of the fact that they signed us good players, but maybe we have some odds to actually somehow move up a lot, but we are likely going to stay where we are unless some team obviously passes by us. But I kind of wish we would have finished where the Thunder were, because it would have been nice. Actually, Philadelphia, I guess, technically. But it would have been nice to have an early pick this year. And the Knicks might have the best odds at the first overall pick this year because of Washington, which is kind of insane. So let's get into this results and find out where we're drafting. See if we somehow move up in our first draft. The Lakers will stay at 15. So I guess they missed the playoffs. 14, Denver. Damn, did Denver not make the playoffs either? That's kind of insane if that's the case. They stay at 14. All right. 13. Who is lucky number 13? Sometimes when it takes a while to load, I feel like it's always a team that changes, and that's not the case this time. Okay, Sacramento stays at 13. So they'll get a decent player there probably, but not a high-end prospect. I really want that first overall pick because that guy looks really good. Milwaukee at 12. Will they stay at 12? Yes, they will. So nothing's changed so far. Number 11. Who is number 11? Because obviously we're number 10. This one's taking a while to load, so maybe that means... Yeah, this team changes. Is it Portland going to move up? No, they're not. They're going to stay at 11. Okay. So far, nothing is changing, which means number 10 for us. Are we going to stay at 10th overall in our first draft, or are we going to be one of these lucky teams that somehow move into the top few? We only have a 3% chance. Will we move up? No, we will not. So we will stay at the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, which is not too bad. So shout out to the 10th overall pick. I guess we'll skip through the rest of this because we don't really care as much. So the first overall pick this year belongs to the Wizards. So I guess it's because it was an early pick. It was protected. But the Wizards will have the first pick, followed by the Pacers and the Utah Jazz. So the Pacers having a really high up pick after obviously losing in the finals last year. So in real life. All right. So there is that. Let's advance. I guess we'll get through a couple other things, but we will not obviously be doing a draft in this episode. We'll leave that for next episode because I want your guys' opinions on who to draft and all that. But staff signing, we got to go through this. We do need to bring back our scout, and we also have assistant GM open too. We don't really care about a crazy good assistant GM, but let's just offer one a contract. And then obviously head scout. We kind of want a good scout, if possible. I don't know how you could tell how good the scout is. This guy's got a lot of interest in the job. How do I see how good this guy is? Oh, I go here. They have badges now too? Damn, I didn't even realize that coaches have this type of thing now too. That's kind of weird. So head scout, his job aptitude, he's really good as a scout. Offensive coaching, obviously we're not a coach. Analytics are pretty good. I guess we could throw our name into the hat for Graham. I honestly don't know if he's a good scout or not, but let's offer those guys contracts, and we'll find out, I guess, if they accept. Which looks like Stewart has decided to sign. That's the assistant GM. Graham is currently tentative because he does have another offer, of course, at the moment. So let's see. Will he accept? He rejected. Damn, man. Okay, let's try and find ourselves another scout. Baylor? Let's take a look at Baylor here. He's 5-star analytics. 83 head scout. Let's try and get him in. We just need any scout, and he's mulling over it. He will still mull over it. Come on, please accept, man. And he has decided to sign. So there we go. We have our new staff on board. A couple of them, Hugh Baylor and Neil Stewart Jr. All right, so that's good. Let's advance to the combine so we can take a look at some stats here. Obviously with the 10th overall pick, I'm not too sure who I want to be looking at the moment, but in terms of the fastest player for three-quarter sprint, Guillermo Delgado, 3.05. That's pretty quick compared to some other dudes, of course. Lane is Harold Blackman, 10.5. Vertical, Lou Sharp, 44, obviously, because he's actually not the tallest, but he's got a good vertical. Huh. Bench, 30 bench press, goddamn. For Lothar Klein, this guy's a monster. Standing 15-foot jump, 24 out of 25, damn, that's really good. Rob Wood. What else we got here? Malevi Dunleavy, we've seen him. Of course, CJ Phillips, Barney Wall, Randall Price. It's all like different people leading in these areas. If somebody led in both multiple of these, I would be like, hey, that's who we should take. But, that doesn't really give me much info on who I would prefer to draft out of those guys. Pre-draft workouts. Since we are drafting 10th overall right now, the Sporting News Big Board rank has Derek Wade as the 10th overall pick. 75 at 20 is not too bad. 2K has ranked at 10 Ocon Burdock, who's a 71, maybe at 19. NBA 2K.com has Derek Wade again. Derek Wade might be an interesting one to look at. What's this one? Sporting News. That's position rank. So he's the second best center. Klein was that guy that had a really good bench press, right? I think so. He's not fully scouted. That's the only problem I'd have with Lothar Klein. But if we're looking at overall ratings just based on the guys that we've scouted out and stuff already, Derek Wade might be a decent pick. 7 feet tall, too. As a power forward. Because I know that Russell's going to be probably the first overall pick easily. I don't think we have a chance really to get these other guys. These guys are also older. Westbrook's not bad. 76 at 19 potentially. So, actually, we could look through this part. I forgot about this stuff as well. Goddamn. There's so much stuff in this game. Ceiling, all NBA. Floor, a starter. That's not bad. That's not bad whatsoever. Obviously, we don't want somebody that has a history of injuries either. Derek Wade, who I was looking at, all NBA as well. And floor as a starter. Obviously, we're not going to get Russell, but what's his ceiling looking like? Hall of Fame, Tim Duncan. God damn, that's fantastic. And then Dan Issel as starter. Yeah, he's looking pretty good at his ceiling. I really wish we had the first overall pick this year to get him. Hall of Fame ceiling for Dunleavy as well, according to our scout. That's interesting. And then Clay Dunleavy, Hall of Fame as well. Damn, Larry Bird comparison. Damn, there might be some really good players early in this draft. Yao Ming even. Alright, I don't know who we're going to get stuck with, but I really hope we get a good player. Helmut Schumacher, all NBA. Most of these guys look all really decent maybe, but some of them have like a floors bench and stuff, so they might not fully pan out. But yeah, I don't really know who we're going to go for with our first pick, but I will obviously probably go for whoever maybe has the highest overall, but there's no guarantees that some of these guys are actually that overall, I think. But yeah, some of these guys could be very good. So for pre-draft workouts, I guess we'll just... How much of these guys could I send? Let me see. I guess we'll just keep on going until we can't. Might as well just do the first top 10 or whatever it is. So we'll just do all those guys for pre-draft workouts. So comparing all these guys, Dunleavy is the fastest. Lane agility time, Dunleavy and Barney Walls, so those guys are both pretty quick. Vertical, it's Bernard Russell who's supposed to go first, and CJ Phillips has the good vertical as well. Benching, it's Bernard Russell and Derek Wade. Standing 15 foot, Dunleavy Sr. and Wall. Alright. There's Westbrook and Bowen, Phillips and Wall, Dunleavy and Dunleavy. Snow and Wall, and Westbrook and Wall. I've seen Wall up there a couple times, which is an interesting one. Glenn Rice, and a floor of Darius Miles. I mean, that's at least a starter floor. Passes physical. 22.5 points per game. It's pretty decent. Obviously, we don't know his ratings in all this area, but... Interesting. Barney Wall's kind of an interesting one. Like 75. Looks like he's B- offense and defense. He's not supposed to go till later, but... Barney Wall might be one of those guys I'd look at. It's tough to say. Because, like I said, he's been up there in a couple things, but obviously it depends on who else is available still when we get to our pick. But that's that, and I think that's going to do it, guys, for this first episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers MyNBA. So in next episode, we'll take it to our first draft. We'll pick up to a couple prospects. We'll get through the rest of the offseason. Probably simulate the rest of the season, second season in next episode too, potentially, because these first seasons obviously fly by really quickly. I'm trying to make sure, obviously, our team is not as good next season, because obviously we want high up picks in this franchise mode as much as possible. So far, a little bit of a weird start to the series, but I'm excited to basically see what this team's looking like in a few years when we have a bunch of young guys that we've actually picked up on the team. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.